Welcome to another exciting episode of the Business of Digital podcast, featuring your hosts, Matt Siltala and Dave Rohr. Hey guys, excited to have everyone join us for another one of these Business of Digital podcast episodes. As always, we got Dave ready to go. How's it going, bud?
It is going.
Awesome. So today we're just going to jump right into it, guys. We're going to start talking about taking social media offline. And we may or may not massage that title a little bit. I don't know, Dave. But just jump in and share us your thoughts on this one. I know that this is one that's been brewing for a while, and there's some tweets or some Facebook posts that have sparked this. But
sitting on this one only for 2 years.
Is that
only
all?
2 years. I guess that's part of the, good or bad that we've been podcasting that long, that we can have ideas that we just don't get to for 2 years.
It's true. Very true.
It's like, but yeah, I know we actually just double checked to make sure we hadn't covered this before. So episode 41, we did link bait product marketing, where we talked about like the Australian tourism ad that they did a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
Adidas, when they were selling the Oktoberfest, O'Reilly Auto Center, when they did and they still have it, the flux capacitor that's listed on their site, like that kind of stuff. But that's all online. I love that Easter egg. That's all online stuff. And then more recently, we talked about maybe digital marketing isn't the answer. Yeah. Which of course, we talked digital marketing. That was how I think we kicked off this year. With Volvo and a couple other places, basically talking about how they do their KPIs. Mm-hmm. The focus for this one, though, is a couple of examples I found a while ago, and there was some other stuff that happened more recently that I saw. But one of the examples is a florist. For weddings or for I think it was for Valentine's Day, she had leftover flowers. So she took all of the leftover flowers, created, I think it was like 10 or 15 additional bouquets, and then went through drive-thrus at 10 or 15 different places, ordered like a water or something, and just gave a card and handed those flowers to whoever was in drive-thru.
Oh, that's so nice.
And that was like her story, and that's what she did. And she does it for...
And that's great content too for them.
Well, yeah, it's great content. And this is from February of 2018. This had 6.5 million views.
Wow.
Sorry, I didn't get the mute in time. And that's just one example where, they have product, they have something that is left over, they can't sell, they can't use it, and they're giving out. And if you're a restaurant, you could create, food or something like that. You could then make sure that you take photos and video. But there's so much content you could do there. But really, it's social media and marketing itself, and digital marketing does not have to be just online.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the whole thinking for this, is just to, if nothing else, just think about how you can do stuff offline, capture it, and show it online. Another one was Arby's and their Twitter account from a while ago. I don't know if I actually get this reference. I want to say it's from a video game or something, but and again, we'll include the tweet, but it's he tweeted out, again, this is like February of 2018, sitting on this for 2 years. If more than 1% of people caught Arby's references, they would be winning every marketing award on earth. And Arby's still, 2 years later, is still often doing really cool. And so is Wendy's, and there's a couple other companies on Twitter that post just crazy awesome stuff, but a lot of it's like pop culture reference or offline reference. And then this guy was like, I commented on Arby's tweet the other day, and they actually mailed him the actual work, the thing that they created for that tweet with a thank you note.
Yeah.
So not only did they get a tweet out of it, but now they've got this guy with, additionally sharing it.
Well, I thought something that, and this kind of goes along these lines, something that happened recently to, if you remember, Luke Alley, he used to work for us at Avalanche, now on our board, but he went on to, again, social media, LinkedIn. He went on to LinkedIn and said something about Nestle and clicked on a link, and it was interesting because he sent in the mail a couple days later, he had like 24 dozen or something, crazy amount of like cookie dough, and he like posted a picture of it. And it was interesting that they picked him, that they sent him all that free cookie dough. I'm like, please give me the link. I want to sign up for that and get all that free cookie dough too. But it got me thinking, like, you know, if they do that every once in a while and they do it to people that they think are influencers or that can get them a good reach, like I looked at that and was like, Holly, we got to go buy some freaking chocolate chip cookies tonight, and like what that does for them. Also, another thought that I had, Dave, was the place that I talk about often, the restaurant that I help out time and again, the scone place. One of the things that they do every once in a while in the evenings is they'll have like groups of I don't know, like if you want to call them scout groups or church groups or just, you know, boys and girls club type thing, come at the end of the day, and basically he teaches them about being an entrepreneur, teaches them about you know, the restaurant business, things like that, and they get to partake of all the extra scones or whatever that they didn't get to, that they didn't sell for that day, and they all like take pictures and love it and eat it. But he's taking that offline, but then they're taking pictures, and all those people are going and doing whatever they're doing with it. And so again, you know, it's something that is benefiting him online too, but he's taking an area of it offline and working with these kids. And so I don't know if that kind of fits into what we're talking about here, but those are a couple of thoughts that I had with this. So.
No, it does. And there's an example of a project, you know, almost 10 years ago now, that I worked on, and we were working with an outdoor retailer, and we were trying to figure out ways to tie in the products and fun and outdoors and like all this other stuff. And we had a host of different ideas, like, you know, the usual, like especially 10 years ago, it was like some sort of interactive widget or an infographic, or, you know, what else can we do? At the time it was maybe a video. And we ended up coming up with something around geocaching and making it like a scavenger hunt offline. This is like, yeah, what year is this? 10, 12? I don't even know. Like probably almost 10 years ago. And no one had done anything. I don't think anything like that at the time. And we were just trying to figure out a way to get, you know, like what REI does now on Black Friday. It's like, get outside.
Yeah.
Like we were trying to do something like that, except 10 years ago.
Trailblazers.
You know, followers. They stole our idea. No, but that was the goal, was like, how can we do this so that, you know, the whole idea was PR, but also just to get people outside, to combine their brand with what people think about or do. And, you know, it was an exercise for link building and PR and branding and just, you know, fun. And we just looked at so many different things. And then we looked at, okay, now how do we, I don't want to say monetize it, but how do we get some sort of social value out of it? How do we get some link building value out of it? How do we get some organic traffic out of it? You know, like we first started with the idea and or the goal, and looked at the idea, and then we just started filling in the pieces. And there was like 3 or 4 ideas, I think, that we internally came up with and that the client had. We've tried to flush them out as best we could. And then from there, we were like, okay, which one has the best opportunity to succeed with as many things as we're trying to do? You know, we're trying to take this digital thing offline and tie it into so many different things. What's going to work? What's going to, you know, what's going to fail? What are the opportunities? Where do we have people? Where do we have budget, revenue, skills, assets? Like what makes the most sense? And that one made sense. It just, we ran out of time, and there was a bunch of other, I think, legal or other things, you know how it goes. Last minute, we were almost there, and we had to kind of pull the plug on it. But there's other things that people can do too. Like Dennis G over when he was at, what's the clothing?
Oh, Fanatics?
Oh, Fanatics, yeah. like they would always set up and, your local sports teams, if you go and they have the mascot running around, that was always before Instagram was a thing and before social media was a thing. Those mascots were there running around before games, taking pictures with kids so that kids would get their picture with their favorite mascot from their sports team.
Yeah.
Like that was a branding, long-term branding kind of, outreach, social media before it was ever social media type thing. And I think people just get hung up on just doing it for social media or posting on social media. Going back to our, digital marketing isn't the only thing. Think about offline, think about traditional, think about marketing and just in general where your audience is. Take your projects offline. Make sure that it's not just online. Take them offline, but then record it. I mean, like the woman, she does this a couple times. She has a ton of, a couple videos out of it with tons of press and tons of links and tons of social shares.
Yeah, that's, I'm thinking about this, and some of the things that come to my mind are those things that we've done over the years. I know one of the, it ended up working out really well for people posting on online, but we were trying to do just that. We were trying to take it offline, but we had that very successful.
It can be tough.
Well, we had that very successful infographic on social meowdia, the cats, of course, explaining social media, and we ended up doing an updated version of it many years later, and we turned it into a poster, and people went crazy for it. They loved that poster, and they put it up. And I got a funny story for you, Dave. This is interesting. So my partner, I can't even remember, he was back east somewhere, just on I think it was like Georgia, or maybe it was Tennessee even. We were talking about Tennessee earlier, but he was just somewhere over there, and he was visiting this agency, and he walks by this cubicle, and he sees that poster from Avalanche Media, the social media, just on someone's cubicle wall. And he walks over there, and he's like, oh, that's interesting. He's like, that's our company that did that. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, I moved into this cubicle. I don't know whose it was, but like I loved it, and so I just left it. And so it's like, we created that, and we were there talking to them. I don't know why, if it was for that, if they saw, or whatever it might have been, other reasons. But we had so many people post about it on social. We had so many people write about it or talk about it or share pictures where they had put it. And, that's just the idea. Just get inspired doing stuff like that, thinking outside the box. Whereas if all I was going to do is just create this infographic and post online trying to get likes and tweets and whatnot, you're missing out on that whole other area of opportunity of things that you can do, in this specific example. Does that mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Well, and sometimes it's just accidental too. The other example from when we talked about product link baiting was that Nadia Cakes down in Phoenix, I think.
Yeah.
Where are they located? I'm looking at their website and it doesn't say where they're located. They ship nationwide. Doesn't tell me anything. Where's their phone number? Where are you at? They're located in the U.S. It doesn't help me.
Oh, okay.
But they had a geode cake that everyone thought looked like some of them just thought dirty.
Yeah, a female anatomy.
What's that?
Wasn't it a female anatomy?
Yes, it was. That was that one. So here it is 2 years plus later, and that social picture, that picture that they posted, 23,000 comments, 33,000 shares. They talk about how, there's a t-shirt and like all this other stuff. And then they actually just in the comments, they listed off, thanks. And then they listed off like a long list of places, size, we won Cupcake Wars once, baking championship, da-da-da-da-da. But they listed off like a whole bunch of places that had like talked about it before. And like just a list of TV shows and channels and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's all from just, this one offline thing that they did that they posted. And that's more along the lines of that product marketing. But there's a lot of other stuff you can do offline. And one place you do see it often, I think the most, is those HR videos, like either on LinkedIn, like when companies, and you know, I think you guys even do it too, when you go off site and either fundraise or do some charity or, you know, some sort of volunteering work, you'll often see that type of stuff, but that's really it. That's the only type of offline social stuff I tend to see. You're either at a conference and someone's posting pictures from their, you know, come to our booth or something, or if your company's doing volunteer work. That's the only time I really see examples. And I think there's just more out there. It just depends on your company.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of restaurants that I follow, obviously, and I know that you probably have examples too. But I think a lot of them that do it right are the ones that that do certain things, like, hey, take a picture of something, or if you see, you know, a particular, you know, if you see this post or whatever, do a snapshot of it and bring it in and show it to us, and you get 20% off your meal or whatever. But there's always opportunities that you could do with stuff like that. And it's also great because you're able to kind of see, hey, is there any kind of reach? Is this reach into, like, what kind of demographics, what kind of people are coming in, and who's sharing this and who's doing it? And so it's just, again, it's thinking outside that box of just, all I can do as a business owner is just take a picture of this meal and post it on social media and hope that people come in. There's so much more you can do, and I think that's the goal here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave.
Nope, that's what I saw. It was just, you know, any way you can reach out to people, and these were just the two examples. And there was another one that I saw recently, but of course I'm completely forgetting. If I think of it, I'll drop it in the show notes. But now that it's the morning and we're recording, I'm totally brain farting, and I didn't write it down somewhere. That's what I get.
Write it down and forget about it, hey?
Yeah, I wrote it down somewhere maybe, but I don't think I did. I think I saw it and I was like, oh, and then I went and dug up this show, and then I didn't put it in the notes. It's kind of...
You know, another one final example that I just thought of, because it's something that it's a picture I have on the wall that I stare at all the time. Or on my, not on the wall, but in my cubbies in my little desk. But so I go to Alaska every year, almost every year, and do a lot of halibut fishing. And one year I caught a 330-pound one. The lodge is like one of their records. And anyway, we got a picture of it, and there's a picture of it that is taken, and it's in the lodge. And there's also like a mold done of the tail. And this thing is like gargantuous. Like, most people can only catch like 60 to 90 pound halibuts or whatever. And even those are good. Like, a lot of, I think probably average lower than that, like 40 to 50 pounds. But talk about a picture that's like posted everywhere and shared. It's something that is offline, and people just cannot believe that there's this fish that's literally, Dave, the size of me. And I'm not a small person, and I was able to catch this fish several years ago, and it's something that they've posted offline that ends up doing a lot of online stuff, and it's kind of fun. So again, think of stuff like that, you know, like if you have anything that's somewhat related to that, think of how it would work for you.
Well, and like the Arby's, you know what they did, someone tweeted about it, and they literally just sent them that little picture and a note.
Yeah,
like that is taking social media offline. That is taking your stuff offline. Now, like they didn't specifically create content from doing that, but someone else did for them.
Like the Wendy's dude saying, hey, if I can get 1 million retweets or whatever, get free nugs for life, and ended up doing it. That's another perfect example.
Yeah, I mean, when people are creating content for you, look for ways to work with them.
Engage them, yeah. Don't shun them. That's free press, especially if it's doing as good as those ones were. So
that's all I got. I was just trying to, not really product marketing, not link baiting, not social media, but it's kind of like taking a bunch of outreach and influencer marketing and like 5 different things and trying to figure out a way to make it work.
All right, guys. Well, hopefully you've gained something from this and got a nugget from it. As always, if you love. If you love what you have heard here, please go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. You don't even have to like waste time writing unless you want to, but just go give us a 5-star rating, and we'd appreciate that. And we will continue to do this for you. But for Dave Rohr with Northside Metrics, I'm Matt Siltel with Avalanche Media, and thanks guys for joining us. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks.